Hi and welcome to the Toon Goons, the podcast in which we take an adult and critical perspective into the world of cartoons and animation and analyze how they affect the pop cultural landscape at large. I'm one of your hosts, Nikki.
I'm Nina.
Judgment, gun tooching, fight for Toon Goons.
And this week we are talking about Space Patrol LULUCO. Nope, I made that mistake a lot. LULUCO. Space Patrol LULUCO. And this is something of a special episode for us because this is the, what is it, 95, 96?
95.
95. This is the first time we've done it all in the same room. And like Tooch and I are facing each other and I don't like it. It's a weird, don't lean on this table, dude. It's a piece of shit.
It's gonna break. We've had this table for at least
here's the thing.
years.
If we're on one track, if any of us burp or sneeze or fart or vomit, it's in the final cut.
Oh, that's true. I always do it whenever, sometimes if we talk over each other super bad, usually it's if like someone's doing a goof and somebody interrupts because of Skype lag, I always have to.
I mean, there's no Skype lag.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Tech talk. Everyone loves that.
Now we find out who the real assholes are because they can't use that as an excuse anymore to talk over people.
Well, I think it's gonna be easier because we can like see each other's faces.
Yeah. Whenever you two do it, I'm really confused. I'm like, they have no excuse.
Well, yeah.
All right. We're going to get into the show. The very, very fun, interesting little show that I'd never watched. I mean, it's new, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty new.
You can watch, if you skip the opening and ending, which I don't know why you would, they're both great, you can watch it all in the span of time shorter than our last week episode on Duck Dodgers.
Yeah. And probably less time than this episode. Gnocchi is also in the room, and she better be quiet.
She's lonely.
Her back was itchy.
It is funny that the show that took us forever to watch was the shortest episode we've ever done.
Yeah.
It was motherfuck. Because we were too busy watching the other stuff. Anyway, what do we got for news, Nia? Because now we've got the actual San Diego Comic-Con news, right?
Yep, we got some actual stuff coming out. So, first off, we got some stuff going on with Nickelodeon. They did their thing, pretty standard. Apparently it's been 25 years of Nickelodeon original animation.
It's as old as me.
So they had a special panel. Craig Bartlett, Butch Hartman.
To a lesser extent, Nikki.
Jonan Vasquez and Arlene Klasky.
You act like you're 40, so I forget all the time.
First up from that Nickelodeon panel is the very special first look of the new Hey Arnold movie, the reboot movie.
Yeah, that's just the character designs.
Yeah, the Jungle movie. It's finally happening. We got to see some character designs. They're a bit retooled, a little bit more modernized, but they're still the same.
Yeah, Gerald has a hoodie now.
Yeah, Gerald has a hoodie. His hair is like got a little slant.
I was gonna say, like, I haven't seen these designs yet. How does he have a hoodie? Oh, okay, it's not up. I don't know why I assumed that.
Arnold is even more layered, and he still can't tuck his goddamn shirt in. You messy boy. Yeah, with the coolest room. Give me your room.
Abner fucking got fat.
I mean, he's a piggy.
He got fat.
Helga's wearing a slightly different dress.
What's the time skip here? 2 years?
1 year later.
1 year?
Yeah.
That's a lot of time for that piggy to get fat.
They're in 5th grade. They're the 5th graders now.
Oh, I remember that.
No, they're going to put the 4th graders in the trash.
Yeah. They better.
So Craig,
they wouldn't. I mean, Helga would.
Yeah, it's got to open with Helga and Harold putting a 4th grader in the trash.
Just like doing like tag team wrestling. Yeah. It's like dropping them onto their knees and then they bounce into the trash.
Harold does the fucking Zangief spin into the dumpster.
Oh god. So we have a couple.
Or what if they did the fucking Mika super, the thing that sucks and I hate it, the butts.
Oh, it's the best. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so we got a couple quotes from Craig here. The movie is very meta and answers pretty much every fan question I could think of. The fact that so many employees currently at Nick are 90s Nickelodeon kids was crucial in bringing Arnold back for the Jungle movie. It's a long-fulfilled dream of mine to finally bring you this movie. And it's going to be coming out Thanksgiving 2017.
I guarantee you half that staff, when they found out they got that gig, they probably wept real tears. Probably called everyone they fucking ever knew in high school or in like elementary school.
You never fucking believed in me, Mrs. Craig Jankerston! Mrs. Chomp Tomperson?
You took away my composition notebook because it had doodles in it. Well, what the fuck's up now?
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Give it back! I know you still got it.
I'm on Hey Arnold now. It's worth money. You can't have it. I better not see that shit on eBay.
Yeah.
Although I can't see anything on eBay because the interface hasn't changed since Hey Arnold was on the air. Impossible to navigate. You know what I'm talking about, Mrs. Crank Tankerston?
Anyway, this voicemail's gone on for a while. I'll catch you later.
Yeah, okay. Also, they premiered...
You're not dead, are you?
This is why I talk over him, because how am I supposed to know when the fuck he's done?
I think of new bits.
He doesn't care if I moved on. Anyway, also, they premiered a short written and produced by Vasquez, Dawn vs. Raph, which we all saw, which is a TMNT animated short. It was super funny.
It was really goofy. It was basically in its own continuity.
Yeah.
And it made me realize that, like, the Ninja Turtles, there's definitely things you can and can't do. There's definitely a Ninja Turtles tone. There's definitely a Ninja Turtles, like, staple of things you need. But that list is very vague and loose. And after that, you can basically do whatever you want with them, and it works, and it's still Turtles.
Yeah.
Like, even the Hollywood films, like the Michael Bay produced films,
those ones.
They, as much as they're pretty forgettable and whatever, there are moments, and if you literally have no, like, refined palette for film and you just want to watch a movie with some turtles, like, it's a perfectly watchable film, and Will Arnett steals that movie. Also,
if you want to see Bebop and Rocksteady on film, like, apparently I haven't seen the movie, and don't they look great? And Krang? Yeah, they
look great. And so, yeah, like, the Ninja Turtles is it's this weird thing where you can do almost anything with it. And that's... Yeah, I hope they make more stuff like that. I hope that was
like I really liked how Donnie had his turtle shell was like all metal, like he like grafted a metal shield on there, and he had glasses.
I found it weird about Michelangelo's design how their chest plates were kind of shaped different, and his was like spiked up really hard. It's like if he looks down too quick, he's gonna like stab himself in the throat.
I like how he put stickers on his shell, like it was his Nintendo 3DS.
That's what I do.
Okay. So also during this panel, or this article also talks about DreamWorks and Netflix with Voltron. They will be returning for a second season this year.
Yeah! I knew it. I knew it. That means it's already in the pipeline. That cliffhanger was on purpose.
Yeah. Joaquim Dos Santos, Lauren Montgomery, Tim Hendrick, and Stephen Ewan, voice of Keith, were at the panel. They showed behind the scenes stuff. You know, they did a panel. It was fun. It was amusing. Also, the 11-track season 1 soundtrack is now available on iTunes.
Nice.
So if you want the music. Cool.
That's one thing I forgot to talk about when we did the Voltron episode, was like, I was really disappointed in the lack of a legitimate opening.
Yeah, and you know who should have done it?
Who?
Wu-Tang.
Oh yeah, they love Voltron.
God.
So you see me forming on the no, I don't remember the line. Because the whole bit is that they compared themselves to Voltron because it's like we come together to make something more powerful than the sum of our parts.
Yeah.
Like Voltron.
And the other part of this article, it talks a little bit about yokai. It's getting a second season if you're into that. Also, apparently it's Wonder Woman's 75th anniversary this year, so they're doing a huge thing at Comic-Con for that, and I'm so jealous. The fucking U.S. Postal Service is going to create some special stamps, and like there's a giant invisible jet that you can just walk inside in the convention center.
Bump your head all over the place.
Knock your dick around on all the shifts.
Yeah, so I'm jealous, but... Okay, so that's that article. Next up, we've got some stuff going on Hulu, and that is that the Paris-based production company, it's called Cybergroup Studios, they've been working on this animated series, Zorro the Chronicles, and it's finally going to be launched in the US for Hulu this weekend, July the 23rd.
A Zorro cartoon?
Yeah, it's
dope.
Both English and Spanish.
I liked Zorro as a kid, but that was literally just because of the Batman connection.
Yeah.
But I like the Antonio Banderas movie.
Yeah.
It's a CG animated series.
Oh. How's it look? Is there any visuals for it?
Yes, we have a visual.
Here's a...
Oh, yeah, okay. All right.
Nothing to write home about, so it'll have to excel in other ways. But it may. I mean, it looks like Zorro, but it's like it kind of bog standard CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is aimed at kids 6 to 12, which is our range, so it's not like little kids.
It's littler little kids, 6 to 12. It's a wide margin.
Yeah. It's classic Zorro, which follows the teenage adventures of the legendary hero.
No, that's not classic.
No.
That's not classic. The young Don Diego, aka Zora, fights to defeat tyranny, and his clever, courageous twin sister Inez and best friend Bernardo by his side. That's cool.
We don't know who's playing anybody, which I'd be interested to know.
Yeah, like especially like the Latin cast and the American cast, the English cast.
Is it produced in Latin America?
It's Paris-based production and distribution.
Sure, why not?
Cyber Group Studios.
Oh. Paris does have a lot of animation stuff going on, so that's not surprising.
Yeah, they've got a rich history of cartooning in all forms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the dude's name is... the CEO, his name is Pierre Sisman.
Right, Pierre Sissy Man. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Zorro cartoon on Hulu. That's cool. I like Zorro.
Maybe kids will like it and they'll be inspired to make like a cool Zorro cartoon that looks good. I don't know, something like stylistic and dope.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. All right, next up,
something that's lit from the bottom a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Next up, we got some reveals for the upcoming DuckTales.
Woo!
We got a creative teaser art poster. It's like a poster of like Scrooge McDuck's profile with all the duckies.
And I love their designs.
Yeah, they're all a little bit different. They got different hair floof, different kinds of shirts.
Yeah, taking a cue from like Turtles or what's some other stuff where they
changed up people who look the same in a good way. I don't know.
Hell, even like honestly, Sonic Boom.
Yeah, Sonic Boom did a lot to change everybody's silhouettes and profiles.
Yeah, Sonic Boom's designs are better.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want about the rest of it, but like designs are better.
Games are bad, show is okay, designs are best.
Yep.
There you go. We also know the creative team. We've got Matt Youngberg, who worked on Ben 10 Omniverse as the executive producer. Okay.
And I also saw on Twitter that Emmy Ciceriga, cartoonist and boarder for Gravity Falls, is going to be boarding for this. She announced it on Twitter because I guess after this, the NDAs have lifted.
Yeah,
very cool. I love the style. It's very inviting and very fun. And
I wish I could remember the name of the girl.
Yeah, I don't remember the name.
Let's see if I can do a quick goog while you talk about the next thing.
Okay, but yeah, DuckTales. It's 2017. We still don't have a date, but they are doing a comic like spin-off, the DuckTales Cine Stories Volume 1, which will be available nationwide September 27th of this year. So, there you go.
Webigale.
That's what it is.
Man,
Webigale.
That's not good. That's bad.
Yeah, the comic is a collectible edition featuring a retelling of the first 5 original DuckTales episodes.
Oh wow. Dope.
I hope Magica Dispel is still June 4A.
I was about to say what's a less inspired name, Webigale or Magica Dispel.
We got a couple quickies. One is just that Powerpuff Girls, of course, has been renewed. The new Powerpuff Girls has been renewed for a second season.
Hopefully it's better.
It's really been dominating everything, really. Like, the ratings are insanely good.
That's good. I mean, good, yeah. But also use that and
do better. The licensing is out of control, hopefully
They need to do an even more meta episode with that villain who is just a shitty nerd man collector. They need to bring him back and make it even more creepy and meta.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He needs to break the fourth wall and talk about the reboot.
They need to do an answer to Teen Titans Go's Control Freak episode.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, definitely.
He really just is Control Freak. Like, I feel like he became Control Freak. He, changed fandoms.
Yep. Yep. Okay, another short thing. If you don't know, international Japanese trailer for Moana came out. If you haven't seen it, we just want to say that we saw it, and it was super cute and great, and we're excited for the movie.
Yeah.
You see her as a baby.
She's a baby! The ocean's a puppy. It's kind of the best. Alright. Next big story is, we have a new trailer and some more updated information about the upcoming documentary film Floyd Norman: An Animated Life. In fact, it's actually being screened at Comic-Con now. Yeah, it was the day that we recorded it, they screened it.
For the sake of being clear with everything, that's July 22nd, the Friday. So maybe some shit could come out tomorrow. I don't know what Comic-Con's cycle is like.
Yeah. But for the rest of us, the film is going to be released through Film Buff in theaters, on demand, and digital HD on August 26th. And you can already pre-order the film now on iTunes and visit the information, blah, blah. So who is Floyd Norman, if you don't know? Floyd Norman was the first African-American person, period, who worked at Disney.
Dang.
And he became an incredibly important animator, character designer. He worked on Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians. He was handpicked by Disney to work on The Jungle Book. He later worked with Hanna-Barbera and on things like Scooby-Doo. He worked for Pixar on things like Toy Story 2 and Monsters, Inc. You know, and so it's sort of been like this, kind of a lost history of this like great, important artist who's helped pave the way for animation. Though he was forced to retire when he was 65, and like, you know, the film goes through all this stuff. So it sounds like an amazing documentary. I really, really do want to see it, and I suggest you guys all check it out when it comes out on the 26th.
He's still alive. He's 81, and he said that he plans to die at the drawing board.
That's what all of them do.
Plans to pull a Tezuka.
Yeah.
He's really responsible for
maybe the most crazy example of that was Harper Lee.
I don't know.
To Kill a Mockingbird. I mean, it's not a cartoonist, but she wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, then nothing for like 30 years, or probably more.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to write another book, and then she died while writing.
It came out like a year or two ago, and then she died almost immediately after.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, for the,
also, Bowie dropped an album and then died.
Yeah.
On his birthday. Just really cutting things off even. He was just like, I'm done, I'm doing it.
Floyd Norman is still alive, and you can learn about his story August 26th. Okay, and the last big story isn't explicitly animated related, but it's about one of our favorite creators, so, and being the show that we are, it would be weird if we didn't talk about it. And that is that during the panel, the Steven Universe panel, Rebecca Sugar came out as bisexual.
Yeah. Surprising no one. But still, it's really important and good.
Yeah, so this is how it went down if you're interested.
I am.
Within the panel, once they had audience questions, a person takes the microphone at the panel and asks Rebecca, like, what inspired the ideas to focus so much on women and LGBTQ themes in her show. And Rebecca, being the way that she is, probably super duper cute. You can see this in a video that they're definitely going to post later. Mm-hmm. She looks a little nervous, and then she's like, well, in large part it's because of my experience as a bisexual woman, which received like applause and cheers, and everybody fucking went crazy and why. And, and of course she said it's so...
That foam mouth guy in Avatar, like...
like, of course she like leaned in and was like, oh, well, it's about my own personal experience.
We've seen... Rebecca Sugar in panels before. She did 2 panels at the first MagFest we went to together.
I think that was the second one.
Maybe the second one.
Yeah.
And like every time, my favorite thing is every time someone went over, they're like, "Hi, Rebecca. Hey."
Yeah, she's
so sincere. Yeah,
she's so sincere. And then she continued to talk about why it's important not just for her but for other LGBTQ people and kids who might be watching. She says, these things have so much to do with who you are, and there's this idea that these are themes that should not be shared with kids. But everyone shares stories about love and attraction with kids. So many stories for kids are about love, and it really makes a difference to hear stories about how someone like you can be loved. And if you didn't hear these stories, it will change who you are. It's very important to me that we speak to kids about consent, and we speak to kids about identity, and that we speak to kids about so much. I want to feel like I exist, and I want everyone else who wants to feel that way too. And then everybody went crazy again.
Yeah.
Fireworks shut out, and fucking everybody
in the crowd got $1 million.
I think some people passed out, and it was a crazy time. Yeah,
I mean, this, what she said ties into a lot of the stuff we've said, a lot of this kind of running theses of our show about, which boils down to the sort of slogan of representation matters. It's something of a slogan, but it's absolutely true. We talked about this a lot in Wandering Sun. We're like, once you see, if the media you consume has a greater diversity of kinds of people, no matter what, category or label or whatever, that is, you're more likely to consider, especially if it's something that's not like immediately apparent, like race. If it's something that's more internal, something that you need to assess, like gender identity or sexual identity or stuff like that, oftentimes you don't consider that you yourself would huge air quotes here, deviate from the norm unless you see
it's an established norm. It's not the real.
Yeah, exactly. That's thanks for helping me clarify that.
Yeah.
You're more likely to even consider these kinds of things if you see it not only just normalized but presented. I bet for a lot of kids growing up, they have no idea that these kinds of identities are possible, or I don't want to say an option because they're not choices, but like this is a thing that someone can be.
Like, when you're trying to figure yourself out at a young age, they almost are like options because you have to consider like is that me? Am I that person?
Yeah.
Like what do I like? Like you got to think about it.
Yeah, all these these things that you can be, and all these gray areas and middle grounds that are so often overlooked in the media, because a lot of, as a society, we're honestly starting to understand them better. And the dialogue about them is starting to be more robust.
Yeah.
And, obviously, like we've talked about Steven Universe. Steven Universe is a very, LGBTQ positive show.
Yeah.
And it is depicted the gender in the show is, not clear cut, but, female coded lesbian relationships.
Yeah.
Multiple ones of multiple iteration, multiple permutations. Yeah. And we see that more and more. One thing that we forgot to talk about last week is that Nickelodeon show, The Loud House, which people have talked to us about, and we really need to check out because it seems like amazing. Like they, did the same thing as Clarence. There was a secondary character, like the main guy's best friend, comes over to visit for a sleepover, and this kid has two dads, and it's just presented like. The character of the dads is that they're both very protective, and they're worried about their precious baby boy spending a night away from them for the first time ever. And the fact that they're gay, the fact that it's two men, isn't the bit. And it's just like, this is how some people have two dads. Some people have two moms.
And sometimes those parents are really protective.
Yeah. Yeah, and their sexuality doesn't define them. It just determines who they're with, and that's it.
They were just defined by being parents.
Yeah.
And the goof was that they were parents.
Yeah, they were schmuck-ass parents.
They were schmucky parents. That was it.
Yeah, like I was watching that scene, and I kept just having flashbacks to like my freaking... Because like when I was a kid, like my grandmother was like the very same way. So like I got the bit. Like I got what this kid was going through. And it's like, gee, he's just staying over at a friend's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you do it, and you're like, oh wait, no, this isn't my house. Everything's different. I want to go home.
Like,
am I allowed to poop in this bathroom?
I don't know. They don't have the same cereals. What is this kind?
But like for this, like I'm sure it doesn't surprise that many people.
Skim. This is water. This is white water that you bought. Did you know you bought this? Alternately, if you're a Skim household, this is cement.
So going back to the story...
This is a gallon of Elmer's glue!
Going back to the story, I'm sure that this didn't surprise me. I think I can speak for the other goons that didn't really surprise us. And I'm sure it didn't really surprise a lot of people, but that's not what the point is.
Yeah.
The point is that, like, she's an openly bisexual, queer woman making a show about these kinds of things. And like for children. It's not just like an outsider looking in and making it. It's like, it comes from personal experience. It comes from wanting to create a new norm. It's nothing. Nothing's ever been done like that before.
And it also puts to bed arguments that bigots would have that we were projecting this shit onto the show. It's been there. It's text. It's not.
Yeah.
It's never been subtext. I mean, some people can claim, but like, it's not.
It's in the text, and obviously the degree of explicitness varies from case by case, episode by episode, subject by subject. But it's always been there, and it's always been part of the intention.
Yeah.
And also, not just Sugar, like this, we learned just about Sugar, but many people who work on the show are openly queer. I know Amber Rogers and Lauren Zook. Must be other people who, I don't know by name, but like, and all, like, the whole, like, not surprised thing, like, I know some people consider, about her coming out, I know some people consider that kind of a loaded thing to assume, but, like, I'm at a point now where basically anybody who's not a complete hateful shithead were to come out as bisexual, I'd be like, yeah. I think we as a society are kind of moving towards the notion that, like, obviously not everybody, like, that's a erasure, that's bullshit to insist, but more people are open to consider the fact that they might fall somewhere in the middle, and that's where they really do fall.
Yeah. At this point, if I meet somebody who's like super chill and cool and doesn't say some shit that makes me go like, oh, why are you saying stuff like that? If I were to find out they were straight, I'd just be like, really?
Yeah.
Like, it's the opposite now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm almost more surprised when people I meet are 100% straight.
Yeah, I just assume that everybody's at least a little bit hetero-flexible.
What has ended up happening in those years, half of those people I know, they eventually come out as bi.
Yeah, or at least like bi-romantic or something.
Yeah, yeah, like, you know, there's all these new, not new, but like more commonly
known.
Yeah, and they're almost neologisms, really, of these gray areas, these middle grounds that you can occupy.
It's a spectrum.
Differentiating your sexuality and your romanticism.
Yeah,
like because again, our language equates those. It's another one of those weaknesses of our language.
Yeah.
So was that our last news story?
Yeah, that's about our last news. Just in case you want to read up on yourself, May for Otto Straddle wrote a really lovely article about this, and she sort of put together the initial tweets and the Periscope filming of it, so you can watch the exact moment. And she has some really lovely things to say about it. So I'd suggest reading that if you haven't yet. It's a really nice, well put together article.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is what we've got coming today for this episode as far as news is concerned. Again, if you find any news stories, feel free to submit them our way. Send it to us for one of our various ways you can contact us. We'll list that at the end of the show. We like to know what you guys wanted us to talk about.